We are at the Poverty Acres private track. This is gonna be a benefit race. Colors! Oh yeah!
I am a nightmare
walking, psychopath talking. Here we are. We're gonna run to our bikes. What I didn't show
right behind you, Booster, so
was me wanting to go from first gear to second gear, but accidentally putting it in something else.
Yep, you're on.
I'm going the wrong bike. That's yours over there, isn't it?
All right, got Paul over to the left in the bright green yellow.
Oh, sorry, who's that?
Booster over there on my right.
Jump on any bike you want.
Stanko's here, Mr. 002.
Booster, your bike's way over there.
Yeah, he has a surprise for me with that.
He's gonna cross us all up.
I'm like, why is he going to be running all the way to the left of us? This is why. Look at that team. And I would have got him. I still would have got him. But start up the bike, look back. It's in neutral. Oh, what the hell? All right, so we get nice straightaway here. I like this little spot. Gotta get some speed, go. It's a little bumpy, so you had to be a little careful on the throttle.
I would have beat him off the line if I didn't put my bike in neutral.
Yep, you could say that again. So, we are all racing, or I should say most of us are all racing in the B or A class today. The C class that they were putting on was for like super new racers, like guys that just rode here a couple times. They've never been in a hare scramble. They might have raced amongst each other, but you could tell that they would have been D riders. Maybe one or two guys would be considered C riders. So we're up into the first wood section. A little tight, little nice single track. Some dipping and weaving. And we actually got a parade lap going through here just to check out things, even though we kind of walked the course. It was nice to kind of come out and do it on the bike, because when you walk, you kind of, okay, yeah, this and that. But when you're on the bike, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this turn's a little bit different than I was kind of thinking in my head. The night before it rained here, well, it rained at my house in Macomb, Michigan. It rained all night long. In the morning it was not clear, but it wasn't raining. As soon as I got to Auburn Hills, over by the Palace Auburn Hills, it was raining, dark clouds, and I was just like, oh man, we are going to have a mud fest. And really, for the amount of rain that came down, the only thing that was muddy was the motocross track. The guy putting it on, I believe his name was Alex. He said that they brought in a lot of clay for the motocross track, so it doesn't really drain. And that would be why there was a lot of hard rain. There we go. Little pitman turn. But so that was the only muddy part. The turnout probably wasn't as good between the Sprint Enduro that was originally scheduled for this weekend and the rain that came down. And plus, I think if he's going to do something like this next year, a little bit of extra promoting to go on. I did not know about this event until like 2 days ago before the race. So I'll get with him and see if he's going to do something next year, because I think he said this was the second annual event that he's hosted here. And if he wants to promote it up a little bit more, I'm sure Booster, I, and a couple other people will put the word out. You know, it might help out. We did have a good amount of D14 riders there. Let's see. So like I said before, Paul Ship, me, Booster, Stanko. There was another guy and his son. They were racing. I don't know their names, but they were there. Who else showed up? A couple other guys showed up. There was a good amount of turnout for, you know, what it was for District 14 guys. So we're making our way through the woods. Nothing really too too like hard through here. Just some, you know, branches, wood, trees. So it said big logs to the left and bypass to the right. And the only thing that made this a little sketchy was the angle that that log was on. Every time I bounced the front tire over, as the back tire came over, it would slide over. And that's a little bit, like I said, about the rain and stuff. I mean, look at this grass area for how much rain they got. Not bad at all. So C riders went to that little bypass to the right. The A and B come over this way. Which I do think that the C riders could have came through here. There was nothing that hard. Unless they were bypassing the motocross track. I'm not positive if they did or did not. Tell you what though, the 200 would really shine with these with that shorter wheelbase and ease of turning through some of this stuff. And there's this one section coming up that, oh, every time I came up to it, I thought I was gonna fall right through here because there was a vine down on the left, really thick vine, 1 inch thick vine. And so I was afraid I was gonna go through, put my foot down, catch it on that, and then get hung up on everything else. But every time I made it through, so that was always good. Basically showing you guys one lap and then, you know, a couple little highlights. And this is, I don't know, kind of funny, halfway humiliating. Mark Becker shows up on a Kawasaki 140. And I didn't know if he was just coming to hang out or if he was racing the thing, because it was like brand new looking, and at the time he didn't have no gear on, so I was like, oh, okay, you know, just figuring it out. You can start seeing the mud now. So these doubles right here, whoa, I didn't jump them. I probably should have, but I just didn't. And so Mark Becker shows up on this bike, and I was like, oh, okay, is he racing? Well, he eventually, you know, got geared up, and he's racing. I'm like, all right, cool. I got lapped by Mark on his little 140 Kawasaki. he was able to push that little bike through that tight woods and just go. I was like, oh boy. They ended up having like 2 motos. This was part of the first moto, and then they had a second moto. I didn't do the second moto. Everything was running a little bit late. We were supposed to race at 10 o'clock, and it was like 2:30, and the class before still had not raced yet. So I think by the time we would have been racing, it could have been 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I was just running out of time. I had plans for the day. Ooh, I was afraid to get stuck there. I gassed it. Now here's a mistake. Over here, bump, 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 bump. And then finally, like after my 3rd lap, I noticed that there was a path to the right where you didn't have to go over those. I was like, oh man. But here we go. This is 1 lap. I'm getting ready to make the little baby jump through the scoring. Well, this was definitely a nice setup. You know, for your own personal place that's not, you know, way up north. This was out in Flint, Michigan. This would definitely be ideal to be able to play around, practice, and have fun. Invite friends over. There's Booster.
Hey, hey!
Taking a little drink. I actually wore my hydration pack. It's just kind of a habit. Because, you know, it's part of my roost guard and everything.
Wasser!
I need some Wasser! Ich habe mein Wasser! And I think we're getting ready to switch it up in. I think I'm going to get right into the woods and then cross it off with a couple little baby highlights. Wow. I know I jumped. I jumped this in because I got splashed. And then I'm waiting for Booster to come up. That's a pretty bad wipe, wasn't it? It must have been, the mud must have been thicker than I thought it was. Oh, I almost lost it through that big old muddy mess. That would have not been fun. Oh, they don't call these things dirt bikes for no reason, that's for sure. Alright, now here we go.
Uh-oh.
Back up.
Uh-oh.
Booster's bike's down, but he's walking it off.
I got it. You alright?
Yeah. Just me.
Yeah. This is a interesting crossing at the best.
Just because it was slick. That made it a little bit more challenging. Ah! Who's calling me?
Taking a break?
My mama's calling me.
Alright, I'll keep patrolling on.
Patrol!
I don't know if I can
And I'm
bump
back.
this one. Let's find out. Stand back a little bit,
Yeah,
I
I
guess.
sprayed my bike out of all, every time I went over, having it go and slide into his bike and knock it over on him. But I made it over halfway decent. Every time I went over, the bike rear tire would slide over more. So it would start off with like a 6-inch slide, then a 10-inch, and then a foot. Ha ha! Colors! Colors! That's it! Oh, look at that dirty ass bike! Mud everywhere! I even had to power wash my boots. That's it. That's all I got. See you guys next time. Auf Wiedersehen! Und ciao. Well, made it to our destination. Peanut butter jelly time. The views, the blue sky, and the views.